Hi guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to be going over which one is better, Breath of the Wild or Skyward Sword. Ready for that port coming out? So let's do this. So the first thing I want to touch on is the controls. They're probably the most controversial thing about Skyward Sword, because originally on the Wii it was only motion controls. There was no way to just play with a traditional stick and button layout. However, on the Switch there is a way to swing the sword completely with just buttons and sticks, because the right thumbstick has been mapped to the actual direction of the sword, which is yet to be known if we can do this in docked mode, because Nintendo's not let us do stuff like that in the past, and I don't know why they've done that, but they have, like in the Let's Go games. But Breath of the Wild, now that has perfect controls on Switch. It feels satisfying to backflip over the enemy and then launch in slow motion towards them and just beat the ever living god out of them. So you just feel a rhythm, but I don't know if it's something that's really going to work on the Switch with Skyward Sword. So therefore, I think controls are going to be a big strong point for Breath of the Wild. So, the format of these two games are completely different, with Breath of the Wild being open, encouraging exploration, and just creativity as a whole as you play the game. Skyward Sword does the opposite of that and makes you follow a path and get ingrained in the set way that the developers laid out in front of you to go forward. However, there is a little bit of exploration, as there's a whole optional dungeon, as well as when you fly around above the clouds, there's a bit of a barren, just kind of like nothing there place where you can fly your bird thing, and in general it's good, but it's not as good of an open section as Breath of the Wild's game world is. So, let's go somewhere else. Hey guys, do you remember this place? This is the old studio that is making a comeback. We're getting stuff set up. But for now, let's grab this seat and talk more about some Zelda games. The next thing that's worth a mention is the stamina bar, because, well, it's originated in Skyward Sword and was vastly improved on in Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild improves on it by giving it ability to be upgraded, which allows you to do more things and do more, like, just general cool stuff, because the stamina bar introduced stuff like climbing and much more parkour and interesting ways to move around the world, allowing for just better level design and game design to be used. Other stuff that was kind of taken from Skyward Sword and improved in Breath of the Wild include the sailcloth, which later became the Paraglider, because the Paraglider was originally not used to glide. It was just used as a way to stop you falling really fast so you don't, well, flipping and die. Which, I mean, I can see why they've upgraded it now, because now you can sail off cliffs and just glide and see some of the prettiest sights you'll see in a game. All the sights in the world mean nothing if you can't get engaged in the story, which Skyward Sword just has an amazing story with beautifully animated cutscenes that show off characters and bring in proper development, and is probably the best Zelda for story, because you end up really relating to these characters and having a reason to go fight the big bad guy other than, oh no, he's going to destroy the world for some nondescript reason. Which works in Breath of the Wild, and it does give you motivation. But story is not Breath of the Wild's strong suit. It takes a backseat and lets you go out and find your own stories and your own adventures. So it isn't bad. It's worth doing. And I would give Breath of the Wild a shot if story isn't exactly your thing, because it makes up for it in other areas. But if you are a story-driven person and you need a reason to go out there and finish the game, Skyward Sword is for you. However, if you, like me, are more into finding your own adventures, finding your own excitement, and you like open world games as it is, and you're looking for your first Zelda game, Breath of the Wild is the way to go, because it's the future of Zelda. Eiji Aonuma, the guy who makes the Zelda games, who's in charge of them, has said he wants to progress towards more of these open world kind of story, takes the backseat, have your mechanics and just the storyline be a complementary part of the game. But if you've already played Breath of the Wild and you want to see where the series has been before, and you want to see the birthplace of Zelda, because Skyward Sword is the origin story. It tells you why they're worshipping this goddess statue, and it tells you why the Hylians are like in the sky in Skyward Sword, and it tells you why the Temple of Time exists. It's very lore heavy. It tells you a lot. So both games have their own merits, but if you're going to pick one and you have neither, go for Breath of the Wild. That's it. So, guys, I will see you in the next video, which is going to be why Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still worth it in 2021. So, see ya. Bye. Bye.